Have you ever lain awake at night thinking about something you wish you'd done differently? Maybe a conversation you never had, a chance you didn't take, or words you said that you can't take back. Most of us carry something like that.
That's a very honest way to start, and I think a lot of people will recognize that feeling. Regret is one of the most human emotions we have, and yet it's not something we often talk about, not directly anyway.
That's exactly why I wanted us to talk about it today. Not to dwell on the past, but to understand it and to find the right words to express it in English. Because sometimes just being able to name what you feel makes it a little easier to carry.
Today we're going to explore how to talk about regret and life mistakes in natural, real English. These are phrases and expressions you'll hear in everyday conversations, in books, and in quiet moments between people who trust each other.
By the end of this episode, you'll know how to express regret gently and clearly. You'll be able to talk about past mistakes, reflect on what you've learned, and maybe most importantly, forgive yourself a little in English.
Before we begin, is there something from your past that still sits quietly in the back of your mind? You don't have to share it, but hold it gently as we talk today. It might help the language feel more personal.
And if you find this kind of slow, thoughtful English helpful, we'd love for you to subscribe to Leo and Luna Talks. We're here every week, and we're glad you're with us.
Let's begin with the most natural way to talk about things you wish had gone differently. Main teaching, section 1.
The most common way to express regret in English is with the phrase, I wish I had, or I should have. These two structures come up all the time in real conversation.
For example, someone might say, I wish I had spent more time with my father before he passed, or I should have told her I was proud of her. These sentences look back at the past, at something that can't be changed now.
Notice the grammar here. With I wish I had, we use the past perfect, the verb had, followed by the past participle. So, I wish I had called her. I wish I had stayed. I wish I had listened.
And with I should have, the structure is the same. I should have been more patient. I should have asked for help sooner. Both forms carry a quiet sadness, the feeling of looking back.
Think about your own life for a moment. Is there something you wish you had done or said to someone you love? These phrases give you a way to hold that feeling and put it into words.
There's also a softer variation, if only I had. This one carries a little more longing, a little more ache, like if only I had taken that job, or if only I had known then what I know now.
That last one, if only I had known then what I know now, is something I've heard from so many people in their 50s and 60s. It captures that feeling of wisdom that comes a little too late.
But it's not only about sadness. These phrases can also be the beginning of acceptance. Saying it out loud, even in a language you're still learning, can be part of letting go.
Main teaching, section 2. Now let's look at phrases people use when they reflect on mistakes over longer periods of time, years or even decades. These expressions come up in deeper conversations, the kind you might have with a close friend or a family member.
One very natural phrase is, looking back, I realize. For example, looking back, I realize I was too hard on myself. Or, looking back, I realize I didn't give that relationship enough time.
That phrase, looking back, signals that you're reflecting from where you are now, with more experience and more understanding. It's honest and mature. It doesn't sound like blame. It sounds like wisdom.
Another phrase is, I let that go too easily, or its opposite, I held on to that for far too long. These are very human sentences. They talk about choices, not just what we did, but how we held things inside.
In more formal writing or careful speech, you might hear, I have come to terms with the choices I made. But in everyday conversation, people tend to say, I've made my peace with it, or simply, I've learned to live with it.
Here are 3 small tips. First, use at the time to explain your past self with kindness. At the time, I didn't know any better. Second, use I meant well when the intention was good, even if the outcome wasn't. Third, use I was doing the best I could. This is one of the most forgiving phrases in English.
I was doing the best I could. I love that one. It's gentle. It doesn't excuse the mistake, but it offers context. It reminds us that we were all younger once, with less experience and less understanding than we have now.
And that matters. The language we use when we talk about our past says a lot about how we treat ourselves in the present.
Main teaching, section 3. In this section, let's focus on how English speakers move from regret towards acceptance, because language doesn't just describe how we feel, it can actually help us get there.
One powerful phrase is, it taught me something. Even a painful experience can be reframed this way. That was a hard time, but it taught me something about myself. It shifts the conversation from regret to growth.
Here's a short, natural conversation to listen to. Imagine 2 old friends catching up after many years.
Do you ever think about what might have been different? One asks, and the other replies, sometimes. But I think I've made my peace with most of it. I can't go back and change things. What I can do is be more present now.
That phrase, be more present now, is a beautiful, quiet resolution. It doesn't deny the regret. It just gently chooses to move forward.
You'll also hear people say, I've forgiven myself for that. This is a very emotionally mature phrase. It takes courage to say. In English, forgiving yourself is spoken about openly, without shame.
And sometimes the most healing thing is simply, I've moved on. Or with more depth, I've chosen not to let that define me. That sentence puts the speaker in control of their own story.
Notice the tone in all of these. They're quiet. They're honest. They don't minimize the past, but they don't get trapped in it either. That's the emotional intelligence in real English conversation.
Common mistakes. Now let's look at some common mistakes that learners make when talking about regret. These are easy to fix once you know what to watch for.
The first one, some people say, I wish I would have, instead of I wish I had. For example, I wish I would have called her. This is incorrect. The correct form is, I wish I had called her.
The second mistake, confusing regret as a verb with regret as a noun. You might say, I have regret about that decision, but it sounds more natural to say, I regret that decision, or I have regrets about that.
The third mistake, using I'm sorry when you mean I regret. They're related but not the same. I'm sorry is an apology, usually to another person. I regret is a personal reflection. You can regret something even if there's no one to apologize to.
And the fourth, a small but important one, people sometimes say, I should have done that. That's not correct. The right form is, I shouldn't have done that. Should and not combine into one, shouldn't.
These are all natural errors, and honestly, the fact that you're learning to express something this personal in your second language is something to feel good about.
Interactive practice. Let's take a quiet moment to practice. I'll give you 2 sentences, and I'd like you to think about which one sounds more natural in English.
First pair, sentence A. I wish I would have been kinder to my younger brother. Sentence B. I wish I had been kinder to my younger brother. Take a moment and think. Which one is correct?
Sentence B is correct. I wish I had been. Remember, after I wish, we use the past perfect, had plus the past participle.
Second pair, sentence A. Looking back, I realize I shouldn't have left so quickly. Sentence B. Looking back, I realize I should leave so quickly. Which one feels right to you?
Sentence A is the correct one. Shouldn't have followed by the base verb, left, is the natural form.
And one last reflection, not a test, just a thought. Can you finish this sentence in your own heart? Looking back, I realize You don't have to say it out loud. But if it comes to you, that's the language working.
Conclusion. Today we talked about some of the most honest language English has to offer, the words we reach for when we think about the roads we didn't take, and the moments we can't return to.
We covered I wish I had, I should have, if only, looking back, and phrases like I've made my peace with it, and I was doing the best I could.
And we hope that somewhere in these words you found not just grammar, but a little comfort. Because the ability to name what we feel, even in a second language, is a quiet kind of courage.
Before you go, is there something from your past that still sits quietly in the back of your mind? We'd love to hear about it in the comments if you feel like sharing. There's no pressure, just an open space.
If today's conversation spoke to you, we'd be grateful if you liked it and shared it with someone who might need it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you with us each week.
Take care of yourselves. See you next time.
Leo and Luna Talks. Real English for real life.